If you're new to this channel, my name is Desmond Samuel. I've got 4 years of trading experience. I'm a swing trader, and this channel is where I come to document my entire process and my trade calls, so you guys can actually see my thought process and then walk you through the entire process of making money from each and every pair I call out. All right. So without wasting any much time, the past has actually gone ahead to hit take profit. We smashed through the first take profit target, and now actually headed towards the second take profit target. And I actually came on here to make the trade call. I actually broke it down here on YouTube. The video is somewhere around here, like so. The link, you can actually go and check it out. We still have a long way to go in the trade anyway, so I'm just here to update you as to how things have been going so far and how you can actually jump in and then ride this wave with us as well. Also, the euro dollar also has a very decent opportunity, as I'm seeing right now. It looks as if the market is heavy. It looks like the market could be having a lot more in store for us than what we actually assumed in the first place. Now I would recommend you stay true to the end and watch this video right through to the end, because I like to leave the best pair for the last bit of the video, you get me. Now the first pair under this is the pound sterling, as you can see, like so. I actually came on here last 2 weeks to talk to you guys about my trade call on this pair, and the reason as to why I actually choose to go short on the pound sterling as regards what I actually saw, the chart pattern and the trend and all kinds of things. So I actually did that last 2 weeks. By the way, the link to that video is somewhere around here, like so, check it out. And then for the benefit of those who did not really have the opportunity to see the trade call from the onset, let me give you guys a quick run through. So you all started from the weekly time frame when I actually saw this chart pattern play like so. So I had a double top play like so here, very simple double top formation. But this chart pattern happened when the market failed to continue higher on this trajectory, because this was a low, this is a high, higher, low, higher, high, higher, low, higher, high, higher, low, higher, high, equal lows, equal highs, equal lows, equal high. All right. So when I knew for a short that this pair was not going to continue higher was when we actually failed to sustain above these points like so. Once I saw this breakout and a false breakout and a melt all the way back down into the range, I knew for a short that this pair was not going to continue higher in any way. All right. So, and that I was actually proved correct, because in subsequent weeks we actually saw this guy melt all the way back down. So this is going to be a series here, and I'm going to be demystifying every single trade call, every single trade terminology, every single trade pattern, anything you have at all, bring it. This series will cater for each and every kind of trader, advanced, beginner, expert, everything intermediate. We'll talk about every single thing in depth. This is gonna be hardcore technical analysis series. Yeah. So now in this case here, we had like a false breakout, and I've taught on this channel severally over and over again that once you see a false breakout like so, okay, and then the market fails to continue and then falls all the way back in, then creates a supply level, best believe two things are going to happen. We have to come back and test that level and then continue lower, because in any case this is a new formation of a new trend here. Now remember, initially you had an uptrend here, leading to this whole move here was an uptrend. So this is a low, high, higher, low, higher, high. Okay, so now we actually failed to continue higher. Instead, what we did was come in and then create a lower low here. Okay, so this was a change of trend. So this is now the high, this is now the low. Okay, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low here. So now knowing just the characteristic and the property of a downtrend actually puts you at the vantage position, because you can easily spot opportunities without even having to do all this technical analysis here and there. Yeah, in 2 minutes you can know what the pair wants to do, part time, per season. This is the level of mastery I actually crave and pray that you guys get to with this business. It is actually possible. I've gotten there myself, and I can show you. You can see the results. It is possible. Yeah. So now, before I actually signed this trade call, there was something else I did, which was identifying any potential hurdles that I could potentially face on the way down. Again, you must know that as a trader you must have contingency plans, and then you must also be an investigative trader. All right. So, or analyst. So in this case here, after sorting out the right hand side of things, now I always preach here, once you there are two aspects to trading here: technical analysis and trade execution. So once you're done with the right hand side of the technical analysis, you now look left. What is the left hand side telling you? Now in this case here, left hand side told me that we actually had an ascending trend line somewhere around here like so. Now if I actually connect this very bottom to this very bottom, this is a trend now. Yeah, so this is the first touch, this is the second touch. Extend this guy into the future, you can see what I see here. So this was a breakout and a retest, continuation to the downside. Now where this happened, around the same supply level. So you see how you're building confluences here. See how we build confluences in this business. So first touch, second touch, third touch was a clear breakout and a retest here. So once I saw this on my chart. The next thing I did was quickly scale down to the 4-hour time frame, because I'm a swing trader. Yeah, I quickly scaled down to the 4-hour time frame, and then what I did was very simple. Yeah, I waited out for the 4-hour candle break and close, and it was a very simple entry somewhere around here like so. Now quick one, we had a trend. Okay, so this is a high, this is a lower high. Okay, and then we had a counter trend line break like so, and then we also had the trend line break and retest. So entries were pretty much simple around here like so, stops above structure, and then this pair has pretty much been a very sweet ride to the downside. First take profit has been smashed, as you can see like so, and then we are en route to hitting the last take profit at 1.31463. see how simple and easy it is. In 5 minutes we have actually broken down this pair. Now the second entry we had around here, which I didn't have the time to come on YouTube to talk about, was this one here. Now how did I actually get this entry? Again, looking left, I didn't bother doing any more analysis on the right hand side of things, because I actually figured this out a long time ago. So I simply just went with the same narrative I had on the last 2 weeks video. So now on this particular trade execution, what I simply did was I came out to what we call the external trend line. Now remember, we have internal structure, we have external structure, which I'll teach you guys in the subsequent videos, or you can see that in the mentorship program. Yeah, now external structures also talks about the outer price action in terms of the bigger time frame. Okay, now I needed to understand that with respect to this move here, from this point to this point here, this is the daily time frame here, but if you go down to the 1 hour time frame, there is a bigger trend. So that's the internal structure. This, what we deal with here, is just the external structure or outer structure. Yeah, so now as you can see, what I simply did here was very simple. I came and I looked at the bigger time frame perspective of things. Now I asked myself, on the larger scale, what could possibly pose as a hurdle to my trade? It was very simple. I came on here and I connected these dots. I see this bottom, I see this bottom. So what I did was this: I placed my trend line here like so. Now if I drew it like this, it would have been too steep and it would have been irrelevant to the current trend. The current trend is here, not here. Okay, so what I did was I extended this guy to this point here like so, and that was boom, that was where I actually had my entry. Okay, so now I said to myself, cool, so we have the first touch here, second touch, third touch, and the third touch always does what the other makes or break the trend. So okay, so now what happened here was very, very simple. I waited patiently for the market to actually break out of this trend, and once it did that, I scaled down again to my 4-hour time frame. Why? Because I'm a swing trader. Okay, so I scaled down to the 4-hour time frame. The entries were somewhere around here, it stops above structure, and then take profit one was here. There's okay, you see this guy collapse all the way to the downside, and the trade screenshot is somewhere around here like so, where I actually made that entry. I'll leave it here somewhere for you guys to see. So now from this first entry, we had 317 pips, okay, to the downside, and then from here we had about 270 pips to the downside. So plus or minus, you see how we turned 370 pips to almost 700 pips in just one stretch, if not more than 700 pips in oneself. You see how it is. Yeah, it is a very simple thing that even you can do yourself. Yeah, so it's a very simple strategy. This thing can be developed. You can learn how to do this by yourself as well. It's very, very possible. I've been there, I've done that. I've did it for well over 4 years. This is actually very, very possible. So you see in that 5 minutes, I've actually broken down one single pair pound sterling, and you can see that in this entire stretch here, what many people will be taking 150 pips from, you and I are able to make almost 700 pips from just one stretch of a move. That is crazy. Okay, that is crazy. Now the next pair on my list now will be the euro dollar in a nutshell. But before I actually proceed to the euro dollar, let's see what the pound sterling actually has to do long term. So long term, this is my verdict on the pound sterling. Yeah, long term pound sterling, long term pound sterling. So quick one, we have 2 things to worry about. Honestly speaking, 2 things to worry about. The first thing to worry about is this horizontal green ray. Once we are able to clear this ray here, is a free fall on the pound sterling here. We have 1,000 potential pips collapse on the GBP USD once we clear that horizontal ray. But externally again, we have one more trend line here. You can see what I'm talking about here. You can see what I'm talking about. You see how we have actually walked away from the inner structure to the outer structure to the outermost structure. You see, so we went from the 4-hour time frame structure to daily time frame structure and down to the weekly time frame structure. And as you can see here, the daily time frame trend line is no longer relevant, but on the weekly time frame there is a significant trend line. This is why I actually put my last take profit at this point, because this is a major trend line here. So you don't want to throw caution to the wind with this guy. Yeah, so anything could happen at this point here. Once we clear 1.31463 is a free fall. I'll be here to let you know exactly what happens on the pound sterling. It's gonna be a very sweet ride to the downside. 1,000 pips from 1.31463 all the way to 1.21500. 1,000 pips to the downside. No self-doubt. Only on one condition: if you're able to clear that green bar. Once you're able to clear that green bar, is a free fall. Yeah, now do we have anything that could pose as a threat to this trade long term? I don't think so for now. don't exactly think there's anything to be worried about here. Every single factor of concern has been cleared, or it is irrelevant to the current trade. Let me see, let me check something real quick. So this can see, so it doesn't really matter to the trade at the moment, not right now. Maybe when the market potentially gets to the downside, then we can actually worry about that trend line. Similarly for this guy, again, nothing much on this guy to be worried about. So you see, every single factor of concern is not relevant at the moment. It is not really something pressing at the moment. So let's check this guy out. Okay, so we have one more trend line to worry about here. Listen guys, forget about no option lines. The key thing is for you to identify potential hurdles to your trade. Anything that can harm your trade is something to care about and do something about. Okay, so plan around this pay. That's why I came here. I said to you guys, my last take profit will be at that green bar. Why? Because everything ends there for now. Okay, so whether or not this market continues and gives us 1,000 pips, it will be entirely dependent on us clearing this green bar. If you're able to clear this green bar like so, then we are in business for the pound sterling. Now the euro dollar real quick. Now, if you look at the euro dollar, I told you guys something very, very profound, and this is the reason as to why I recommend you get the mentorship program. Please grab the mentorship program. A lot of people blew their trades on this euro dollar. Let me just share with you guys what happened on the euro dollar real quick. By the way, I actually came on here a couple of weeks ago to talk to you guys about the pound sterling and then the euro dollar. And then I said to you guys that I wasn't exactly comfortable with this kind of range breakout that I had here. By the mercies of God, look at what we did here. Now for me and my mentorship students, we actually we are able to avoid this problem, but then I had a lot of blow their accounts, and then profits were actually wiped out because of this false breakout. Anytime the market is in a range and it breaks out, it must give you a weekly candlestick engulfing outside of the range, weekly candlestick engulfing, break and close outside the range, and then we are in business. Anything other than that is a no-no. We must have a bearish engulfing candlestick or a bullish engulfing candlestick break above or outside of the range and close and continue. Then we can actually come and call this a clean and complete breakout. But for now, this is looking like a double top has been actually formed and finalized. So this is actually on its way to breaking this neckline. This pair has about 2 hours steady, has about 3 hours or 4 hours to close. Once it closes this way, I can tell you the next couple of weeks would most likely be bearish on this guy. But I'm not going to be acting on the euro dollar anytime soon, because for me, I am very, very conservative. I'm a very conservative trader. So what I'm going to be looking out for is for the market to give me one more weekly candlestick close inside of here, one more weekly bearish engulfing candlestick break and close inside of here, and we are in business. Anything other than that, I'm not really comfortable with it. Because I've been around for long, and I can tell you that what looks like a very certain move will most likely end up being a disaster if you're not able to plan accordingly. So we must always be ready for anything, man. Be very flexible with this market. Be very, very flexible. So now, are there any things that could actually hinder our trades? I don't see anything like so. I don't see any issues whatsoever. Everything points to the green ray. Similarly to the similar thing to the pound sterling. Everything pretty much wraps around this green ray. So once we're able to clear, but then again, there is a potential trend line to worry about on this euro dollar like so. So what we simply need to do is look at this guy carefully. Okay, look at this guy carefully. Look at this guy carefully. We need to see a breakout, continuation to the downside, one more weekly candlestick engulfing inside of this level like so will be an ideal trigger for us to actually go looking out for short-term opportunities on this pair. So from 1.1500 all the way to 1.100, we have potentially 400 pips on our hands, and you guys know that we are definitely not going to leave the market with 400 pips. No way. We are taking home at least 1,200 pips from this move. I'm telling you the honest truth, nothing but a fact. Because we're going to have like multiple entries on this guy. It's going to be a bumper harvest. You get me here? So it's going to be a very, very simple trade to take. This is a no-brainer even. There is absolutely nothing to worry about as it stands. All you need to do is be patient enough for the market to give us one more weekly engulfing candlestick break instead of here. Then the subsequent week to be for pullbacks, and then we can actually continue to the downside on the euro dollar. 400 pips to go, but I can tell you and I are in for a very sweet run, because we're definitely leaving this market with nothing less than 1,200 pips on the euro dollar. Now lastly, on the XY, we have been playing around this range for a very long time, and I said to you people that I'm not confident in any range play at the moment because of one particular factor that I noticed, and that was the trend line. Now if you look closely, this trend line actually pretty much tried to complicate things because we had like a first touch, second touch. The market was playing around in here instead of this box like so. It wasn't really decisive for us. It was neither going up or coming down. It was practically just moving sideways. They're giving us a series of equal highs, equal lows, equal highs, just bouncing between the upper band and lower band, and that is a range play like so. And now the market seems to have finally found its bottom, and it is starting to blow to the upside. But there's just one more factor left to clear, and that is the blue bar. Once you actually, because you know that these levels are actually magnets in the market. By the way, if you want to learn how to draw these levels on your charts, okay, check out the link in the pinned comment like so. It takes you to the mentorship program. I teach every single thing in depth. Okay, so now this is exactly how it was. So you had the first breakout here, and then we bottomed out. So this is a double bottom on the weekly time frame. This is significant. Okay, and now one of the range trading principles states that now this is a trick. So the total amount of pips accumulated in this range from this very head to the neckline here, once market breaks, it has to give it that equal amount of pips. So measuring this guy carefully, we see that plus or minus we have room to the upside to the tune of 104.681 like so, which is a very decent ride. So I can tell you for a shorty from here to here, roughly 400 pips of space to the upside, which will most likely trigger a lot of downward momentum on the pound sterling and then the euro dollar as well, which are my two major pairs of concern in this season. Okay, so now for now, the only thing holding the DXY back is the blue bar. Once we get this blue bar out of the way, guys, ladies and gentlemen, once we get this DXY to successfully clear this blue bar like so, we are in for business. Okay, so we have space to the upside to the tune of 400 pips. So the first key level there, or first level to look out for, is this blue bar. Once we clear this bar with a bullish engulfing candle weekly time frame, by the way, then we head all the way to 104.681. that's roughly 400 pips, and then once we clear that space, we got space all the way to 101.000 like so. And there you have it, traders. You already know how we did on this channel, man. Quality over quantity, 3 pairs only, top 3 pairs that everybody takes to actually pay us. Clarity over quantity, you get me? So let's get what is clear and let's be on our way. All right, so on this series is 3 pairs max. All right, top pairs only and nothing more. Okay, so they have it. Those are the pairs I'm actually looking at, and then that's what I'm actually looking at to see how they develop over time. Now, by the way, guys, the link to the mentorship program is literally in the pinned comment line. So save yourself the stress of trial and error. This is not the year that you really want to go blowing accounts. Get a strategy once and for all. Save yourself the stress. Okay, the link is in the pinned comment. Then also, if you value one-on-one mentorship like this, once again, my email is there. Send me an email. Let me hear what you have to say. We can come up with a plan for you. I'm here to work with you. So please leave a like and comment, and then also please do not forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell icon. I don't want you guys missing this trade. This is gonna be a long ride. All right, so I want to take you guys by the hand through it all. Okay, so through it all. All right, so for now, I'll catch you guys next time. Trade safe and peace out.